I hope anyone here who didn't watch his speech watches it. It has all kinds of things that I didn't see reported in the media until I heard him say it. It was powerful, it was strong, it was not at all arrogant or angry, but it was basically a strong plea for America to regain the gyroscope of democracy, which has led us forward for so many years. And we're losing it. I heard in the speech, what did Noam say? She brought in troops to, what was the word?
To liberate.
To liberate Los Angeles. What is going on here? I had not seen that in the media. So please watch that speech. It was really powerful, but it's a wake-up call to all Americans, Democrat and Republican, and I was glad to see some of my Republicans stayed and listened to the speech about our democracy. Okay, and let me just say something a little bit about what happened in our Mansfield room briefing that Senator Thune and I were part of. First, I want to be really clear about the Capitol Police. They've always been the silent heroes behind the scenes keeping our members safe. It's no secret. The country saw that on January the 6th and in the footage after. But after the awful assassinations this weekend, there's real concern not just here in the Capitol, but with folks across the country about the safety of elected officials. And in that meeting and in our lunch, many of our colleagues got up and told how they had been under real duress in terms of being threatened in one way or another. One way or another. And we need a full investigation of who's making those threats and to stop it. And not just stop it, to make sure the whole force of the law is used against them, because almost all of these were, what was done was criminal, in my judgment. So, but in any case, public servants and ordinary citizens should not have to fear their lives simply for doing their jobs. We believe we must take immediate steps to ensure the safety of members, and that includes sending significant additional funding and resources to the Capitol Police. Inside that room, there were a good number of Republicans who were nodding their heads and some who spoke out in favor of it. So we hope, believe, and sort of demand that it be bipartisan. Look at the administration. They're doing the opposite. USA Today reported that as lone actor attacks are on the rise, Trump cuts the program aimed at spotting them. The program called AIM, the program aimed at spotting them, is a program to spot, it's called AIM, lone actor violent domestic extremists. They were taken out of that program and put in other roles. And since Trump took office, the administration has sunk the program that goes after people like this to 10 people, led by a 22-year-old graduate with no law enforcement experience. They should change that immediately. It's just incredible. With everything going on, they're just cutting, cutting, cutting. Right now, we need to give our law enforcement more resources to prevent horrific acts, not less, as the Trump administration is doing. But I want to be clear about something. The dangerous environment isn't spontaneous. It's being stoked, often deliberately, by reckless rhetoric coming from the most powerful voices in the country. It's the responsibility of leaders, especially the president, to not just unequivocally condemn hatred, but to stop the violence and aggressive language used against political opponents. We are opponents. We're not the enemy, as he has tried to make us be. And that kind of rhetoric is dangerous and inflammatory. And instead, they're cutting the programs to prevent these tragedies. Okay, let me speak for a minute on the cuts, the big ugly betrayal. Amy has insisted we use the word betrayal, and she's right. It's a great word. Last night, Republicans dropped the much-anticipated Finance Committee portion of the big ugly betrayal. Who would have thought that the bill could get worse in the Senate when everyone thought it would get better, at least a little closer to what the American people want? But it got worse. It got more extreme. It did more damage to the American people, even than the House bill. The Medicaid cuts the Senate Republicans planned are even deeper and more devastating than the cuts made in the House. They made the biggest cut in Medicaid history even worse. It means that our Republicans are looking to rip health care away from more than 16 million. CBO kept raising it from 13 to 14 to 16 would lose health care. It's pretty certain that the next bill, the next CBO report, and of course, Trump will say the CBO lies. Anybody who doesn't agree with him, he just discounts, and that's one of the many, many problems with this administration. But I'm sure it will be more than 16 million. With the ACA cuts and defunding of Planned Parenthood, their bill would be nothing short of a backdoor abortion ban. Not only do they eliminate money for Planned Parenthood, but they don't allow people who get their health care from ACA to use any monies for reproductive activities. They do nothing to modify the horrible strangulation of the clean energy economy. It's a head fake. So, they move up the deadlines somewhat for geothermal and for hydro, but the biggest producers of clean energy, far and away, wind and solar, are still virtually eliminated by this bill. Virtually eliminated. 800,000 jobs, lower energy costs, all gone. In fact, it is estimated that at minimum, this bill would raise the average American's electricity bill by 10%. So they're cutting jobs and raising your costs, American people. The legislation is going to surrender our clean energy leadership to China. That's what it's going to do. China in 10 years will just dominate clean energy if this bill passes and have the American consumer. You can be sure Chinese consumers will get a lot lower prices than Americans. They'll have us by the neck. Why are Senate Republicans shipping the jobs overseas? Why are they doing this? Why are they cutting SNAP? Tax cuts for billionaires. Ron is going to talk about that at great length, or at greater length.
Yeah.
Greater length.
Greater length.
But Republicans, their fundamental belief is help those at the tippy top. Trickle-down economics was discredited years ago. But this greedy, powerful, influential group of billionaires has the Republican Party's ear, and they just listen to them. They bow down in obeisance to them. And that's why they come up with such a very unpopular bill. Amy, at our caucus lunch today, showed how the American people so much dislike this bill. Those who know about it and more know about it, and it's our job to get them to know about it. So, folks, we're going to fight this bill in every way that we can. And with that, Senator Klobuchar went through a very harrowing experience this weekend. We talked regularly about it, and I'd like to call on her now.
Thanks, Chuck. Thank you, everyone. And thanks, Chuck, and thank you, Ron and Alex, for that.